COVID-19 has upended much of the world, and as a teacher, I feel pretty powerless since, like I'm sure it is in most of your hometowns, the schools around here are either doing e-learning or are closed until further notice. So, I'm a teacher who can't teach, at least not in the traditional sense. But I thought I'd offer something here that could be of a little use to someone out there. So let's help our communities out by staying inside with a good book. I'm doing this for two reasons. First, the virus is going to take a lot away from people. For far too many, it already has. But if you're fortunate enough to just, like me, be stuck at home inside waiting it out, don't let it take away your education. Invest some time in yourself to practice something you're truly passionate about, whether it be music or coding, language acquisition, perhaps even reading. The other reason is that while it's important to stay informed, it's also crucial to get off the internet for the sake of your own mental health. There's numerous studies out there that support this, and I'm sure if you're like me, you can feel yourself needing to get away from the screen. So here's 3 books categorized by how much you want to think about the pandemic while you read. All right, novel number 1, Mary Shelley's The Last Man. This book falls into the I really want my reading to reflect the pandemic we're living through category. Far overshadowed by her legendary Frankenstein, The Last Man still has a lot of merit, and better reflects our current state of affairs. The premise is that a plague has killed everyone on Earth except a single person. Now, Shelley is probably responding to a cholera epidemic she witnessed in her lifetime, but The Last Man is so much more than just a plague novel. It's a view of romanticism itself, and what happens when it dies. So if you're interested in the romantics, like Shelley, her husband Shelley, Lord Byron, or others, it's a great novel to check out. It's also public domain, so you can read it for free online. There's a link in the description below. But be warned, it's a real downer, but if you're here because you found my Never Let Me Go videos, then you're used to downers, so you'll be just fine. Novel number 2, John Steinbeck's The Moon is Down. One of my all-time favorite novels, The Moon is Down, is for those looking for inspiration. A key piece of Allied propaganda, Steinbeck wrote it to inspire those living under the occupation and oppression of the Nazis. And during World War II, resistance fighters risked their lives to translate, print, and distribute copies of it. Picking up this novel for the first time, I was surprised by how light its tone was. Admittedly far from a cheerful read, The Moon is Down nonetheless comes off rather tame for a book about POWs and public executions. But that's precisely why I think it would make a good read right now. At its core, it's not a novel about the monsters of Nazi Germany, but about a community surviving through its own tenacity and cooperation. And because of that, it inspired people in 1945 and continues to inspire people today. Also, the title comes from a super clever reference to a very specific moment in Macbeth, and I always appreciate clever titles. It's also worth noting that it's a remarkably compact read, easy to go through in just a couple of sittings, and you will not want to put it down once you start it. Novel number 3, The Great Passage. For those looking for an inspiring distraction read, Shion Miura's The Great Passage is your book. You want to know an exciting topic for a novel? Writing a dictionary. I was hesitant to at first, but if you like words, you will love this book. The story covers a group of people working together to write a new dictionary, which is not easy in any language, but in Japanese it's particularly Herculean. The characters all have their own backgrounds and motivations for being a part of this project. Some are passionate about it, some have made it their life's work, some are just there for a paycheck or because they can't work on other projects. But despite these differences, they come together to create a work that is greater than anything else they could have done individually. The core of the story focuses on Majime, a man whose name literally means serious, but it spans a pretty big gap of time as this dictionary moves closer and closer to completion. By the end, I saw this fictional dictionary not as a book full of words, but as a cathedral of words. The sort of art that takes so long to accomplish that its original artisans don't even see the finished product, but they devote themselves to it anyway. And I think that's beautifully inspiring. It's also worth noting that Americans, like myself, aren't required or encouraged to read translated works very often, and that's a real shortcoming of our culture. But Juliet Winters Carpenter's translation is phenomenal. You'll learn a little Japanese by the end of it, which is cool. And no matter what language you speak, you'll never look at words in quite the same way. One more endorsement, I named The Great Passage as my favorite novel of the last decade, and I read a lot of novels. So please, if you're looking for a nice, fun distraction that'll still move you in incredible ways, check it out. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you are staying inside and staying safe. Don't forget to check on your relatives. And if you're looking for these books, there are links in the description, whether they're free audiobooks or ones that you would have to order or an ebook. I tried to put all that there for you to find. So check them out. And if you have recommendations for me, I'm stuck inside as well and would love to hear what you all are reading. Have a good one. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.